Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Megan, and typically I post a lot of yacht stew vlogs, travel videography vlogs, flight attendant stuff, anything along those lines. A lot of travel content, content creation, van life stuff. But I noticed my yacht stew vlogs are getting a lot of views, a lot of traffic, so I figured I would make a little video on how to get into yachting. It's a tricky industry to break into, so I thought I would give you some tips on how to get into yachting. So, when I moved to Florida, I knew nothing about yachting, to be honest. I'd seen Below Deck, but I wasn't familiar with the industry. I didn't know you could just freelance as a yacht stew and make a ton of money. I started going out a lot when I lived in Fort Lauderdale. I moved to Florida to become a flight attendant, and when I got to Fort Lauderdale, I met a lot of yachties. Every night at a bar, I would meet a yachtie, and over time, I became really interested in their life. I was like, what does that even mean? What are they doing? They work on yachts. That's so cool. Like, I would love to get involved in that. So I networked with them and I became friends with them, and I learned a little bit about the industry. Of course, they had been in yachting for a while, so it wasn't going to be as easy for me to just start working with them. But I did my research and I networked with the right people and eventually landed my first yachting gig. And this captain taught me everything. He taught me how to do lines. He taught me the right terminology. He taught me, professional service. And I was really lucky to have met him. But not everyone is that lucky. So if I were to go back and I were you wanting to get into yachting, this is what I would do. So the first thing that I would do is, the most important thing is, I was living in Connecticut. There are some yachts on the water in Connecticut in the summer, but it's not as prevalent up there. If you're living in Ohio or Kansas or Texas and you want to get into yachting, my best advice to you, number one, would be to move to a yachting hub. The largest yachting hub in the United States is in Fort Lauderdale. A lot of super yachts come there, mega yachts come there in between transitions from Europe to the Caribbean or to New England. It's a huge yachting hub, so there's yachts in and out of Fort Lauderdale all the time. If you want to get into yachting, this is the place to be. It's how you're going to network with people, meet the right people. It's going to be so much easier if you're already in Fort Lauderdale. The most important thing is to get in the location where you want the job. There's some crew houses you can look up on Facebook. Yacht crew housing in Fort Lauderdale, and you can find really cheap accommodation where you can rent a room for a week or two before you find a job, and that'll save you some money. You don't have to sign a lease, and that makes it a lot easier, the transition moving from wherever you are to Fort Lauderdale. So that would be number one, move to Fort Lauderdale. Fort Lauderdale or Miami, but Fort Lauderdale is definitely better if you really want to get into yachting. Alright, step number two. So now you're in Fort Lauderdale. What's next? The next thing you're going to want to do is enroll in all your courses. The most important one, of course, is the SCCW. It's a 5-day course, and there's a few places that offer it in Fort Lauderdale. It's pretty easy to sign up and get involved. You do firefighting. You learn all the safety involved in yachting. That's really important. So if you want to get a job on a boat, you're going to need to have your SCCW. You can also get your ENG1. It's not too expensive, like $100, $200, and that's basically just a medical evaluation saying that you can work on the boats and you're healthy. The SCCW is about $1,000. That's what it was a few years ago. It may have increased since then, but it's around $1,000. So you're looking at like $1,000 to $1,500 for your courses. It's not bad at all. You're gonna make that back in a day or two when you're yachting. So get all that done, move to Fort Lauderdale, get your courses done. So you've moved to Fort Lauderdale, you've taken your courses. Now what's the next step? The next step is to build your resume. I'm sure you have some hospitality experience, and that's going to go on the resume. Make sure you go on Google, look up what a yachting resume is supposed to look like. Get a Canva membership. You can just do a 1-month membership. I think it might be free for 30 days. And put your picture in the top left. Make sure you go to a marina, wear a nice polo, black skirt, white shoes. Take your picture. It doesn't have to be a professional camera. It can be on your iPhone. Put that in the top left, and all information, your courses, any relevant courses that you've taken, hospitality courses, put that all on your resume, and then put your hospitality experience, and voila, you have a resume. So this is just a template. You're going to be able to add stuff to it going forward. So yeah, you have your resume. Now what are you going to do? So you're going to want to join all the Facebook groups: Fort Lauderdale Yachting, Yachties in Fort Lauderdale, Yacht Crew Miami, Seeking Stews in South Florida. There's a bunch of different Yacht Crew Facebook groups. You're going to want to join all those. Get familiar with the website called Daywork123. That's where you're going to find a lot of job postings, especially in Fort Lauderdale. It's going to give you the location, who's posting it, what they're looking for, and their contact email or phone number. Make sure you're going on all these pages and the Daywork website every day, if not multiple times a day. Always refreshing it. There's people posting all the time. If you want, you can start sending your resume out to those people, but I would recommend to network first and get your name out there. So the best way to network in Fort Lauderdale is to just go out and meet people. You're going to meet yachties at the marinas, the grocery stores, the bars. Just make sure you're introducing yourself to people, get their Instagram. You never know where that's going to lead. Maybe in 3 years they need a second stew on their boat in the Med, and they reach out to you on Instagram and your friends. So make sure you're networking with a ton of people. Meet as many people as you possibly can. Who knows, maybe their boat needs a day worker or a stew. A lot of times the jobs are who you know, not what you know. That's any industry, but really in yachting, if the captain likes you, the mate likes you, the other stews like you, you're going to be able to work on the boat, and they'll teach you everything. So make sure you network with a ton of people. Another thing you can do is dock walk. So go to the marinas, introduce yourself to people. You can bring the resume if you want, but I would say it's better if you wait until you've landed a few day working jobs. So my hopes with the networking is that you're going to land some day working jobs. So day work is when you go on a boat. Typically what happens is the crew is getting relieved. They just worked a long-term charter, but the boat still needs to be cleaned. So the captain or the owners hire some external day workers to come in and do a deep cleaning of the boat. It's pretty easy, but I would just make sure before you show up, you watch some YouTube videos, how to clean a yacht, what products to use in what areas so you don't look stupid. Make sure you know what you're doing, what things are called, refresh yourself with the terminology. Just make sure you know what you're talking about and know what you're doing. But yeah, so the ways you're going to land that is through people you meet at the bars, the dock walking maybe, or the Facebook groups and the day work. So once you've done like 1 to 3 day working jobs, and typically it's not that hard. You show up for 5 to 8 hours. They typically buy you lunch on the crew card, the yacht crew card, and you make like $150 to $300 for the time that you're there. It's super easy. You're getting your name out there. You're meeting captains. You're meeting crew. You're getting on boats. That's what you want to be doing. So although you don't want to be cleaning, you don't want to be a yacht cleaner, it's really important to do a few of those jobs just so that you have that experience and you can put it on your resume. So yeah, now you're going to add all that stuff to your resume. You worked 3 to 4 day working jobs. You're going to add all those to your website, like interior detailer, 160 foot, whatever, monomarine, or whatever boat that it is, Pershing, whatever it is. Make sure you put the boat, you can put the name, put exactly what you did, and the time you were there, the location, add all of that to your resume, and start sending that out. So now you can start emailing the people on Daywork123 in the Facebook groups that resume, and you can say, I'm looking for a stew job, or I'm looking for another day working job, and just get yourself out there, do as much work as you can. Even if it's not exactly what you want to be doing, it's going to put you in the right position to be doing what you want to be doing. So my hopes is that you get a job through one of these ways, by going on day work with your resume, going on the Facebook groups, through networking and people you met. But if you don't do that, there's always recruitment agencies in Fort Lauderdale. So you can take the resume that has all the day working and the hospitality experience and all your courses, and you can send it to the recruitment agencies. They're always actively looking to place people all over the country: Alaska, Fort Lauderdale, the Hamptons, even the Caribbean, everywhere. They're looking to place people internationally. So that's typically more for full-time positions or contracted positions. But if you send your resume to them, you know, who knows, that'd be a great way to get your first job. And yeah, finally get on a boat as a stew. So make sure you send it to them as well. Yeah, that'd be a great way to get a job. So yachting is an amazing industry. I wish you the best of luck. I'm so glad that I had the opportunity to work in yachting for the past 5 years.